What's going on, guys? No, I can't say what's going on, guys. We're going to say two guys, one mic. Just say what's going on.
Yeah. Don't overthink it.
What's going on? Two guys, one mic. I'm Michael Mullane. It's my best friend, Rain Price. Here to talk some football.
Best friend.
Best and only friend, matter of fact.
Best and only friend. All right, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Rain. We're just here to talk football. We like to do a lot of betting. We're going to do fantasy advice. And we want this channel to be open. We want it to be different than kind of the other channels out there. You know, we want it to be an open format. Get just bunch of dudes together.
Bunch of dudes
talk
having
football,
fun.
Fuck around, throw some money on the games, play fantasy football. You know what I mean? Like, just have a good time with it. This is all we do anyways. So
might as well record it.
Might as well record it, do some shit differently.
Maybe make some dough.
Yeah, make some dough in the process.
By the way, if you can hit subscribe or drop a like, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, Mike needs it. He spent some money on the gear here.
I'm down bad right now.
All right, but let's jump into it. Go ahead, Mike.
We got the Bengals Titans. I mean, you watch ESPN, which we really don't because none of them know what they're talking about for the most part. Basically they're saying if the Titans play well, they'll win. If the Bengals play well, the Bengals will win, which obviously either could happen. I think it'll be a big testament for the Bengals if they can continue to play well. Obviously they've played well in spurts, but we haven't seen it too consistently. I mean, they can play so well and so bad in the same game. You never really know what's going to happen. I have a couple of injury reports as of right now. We're pretty close to the game time here. But for Bengals, Stanley Morgan, wide receiver, he's questionable to play with a hamstring injury. And then the Titans have, I think, Teair Tart is how you pronounce it, defensive lineman. He has an ankle injury. He is questionable to play. But yeah, for me personally, I have the Titans here. I think we're finally going to get to see Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, and Derrick Henry. While, yes, we don't know to what extent. He's still Derrick Henry. Like, I don't care. Even if he has 100 rushing yards, that's huge for that team. I think that they need to get better on first and second down. You know what I mean? They're one of the worst in the league on first down, but they have fantastic numbers aside from that. I don't know if you want to take a look there.
Yeah. I'm going to start it out with, I think this game comes down to Mike Vrabel versus Zach Taylor. I think if we're going to do the X's and O's game, yes, Bengals are talented on offense. They have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. That tight end's been playing very well. They obviously have Joe Mixon, Joe Burrow, who's been going off.
Joe Burrow.
But I think it's going to come down to the coaching, and I think Mike Vrabel is going to be able to insert the way he wants to play the game better, the way he's done all year. He continually gets doubted, and they finished the number one seed in the AFC. They're the number one seed in the AFC. They're the dark horse to make it to the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship. And I think Mike Vrabel feeds with that. He's an Ohio State guy, and I think he feeds with that story. You feed him the narrative, you're not going to win. Like, you're a good team, but he's going to feed off of it, and that's what this dude does. And he's a defensive line coach, specifically a linebacker coach. And I think we're going to see that. This is a team who, I think Michael mentioned it, but they're the only team in the league with 3 guys or more that have 8+ sacks this season. And I think that is what they're going to do. And they're going to win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the balls. Yes, the Bengals have a great offensive line, but I just don't think they're going to be able to keep up the entire game with this defense. And I think, shootout game, Bengals win.
Absolutely.
But I'm putting my money here on Mike Vrabel being able to play this game the way that he wants to and continue to have that defense dominate. And let's talk Ryan Tannehill real quick. People love to hate on this man. And yes, he's not elite. Yes, he's not as good as Joe Burrow. But when Derrick Henry's on the field, you don't need Joe Burrow. You don't need an Aaron Rodgers type of quarterback. You need a guy that can throw against single coverage, and I think he can do that. And this is a time we're going to see this team fully come together. Whether Derrick Henry's healthy or not, it doesn't really matter because the Bengals are going to have to decide: do they want to respect Derrick Henry? Do they want to respect his run? And if they do, they might slow him down a little bit, especially if he's not healthy. I don't care if he's at 80%. If they don't respect his run, the dude's going to go for over 100 yards easily. And that's where he opens up lanes in the passing game for Ryan Tannehill. And his stats are much better with him on the field.
Right. I mean, the Titans defense is allowing 12.8 points per game. They're allowing 3.2 yards per rush attempt, and their touchdown to interception ratio is 4 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. The first two stats that I had said are second in the league, and the last is third in the league. So I mean, I think that yes, the Bengals they gained some of the most yards in the league right now. I think they're averaging like over 300 yards per game. But I don't necessarily think that they're going to be able to come out here and do that against the Titans defense. I don't know how well Joe Burrow is going to hold up with the pressure that they're going to get. Like you said, they have 3 guys who have 8 or more sacks. They're the only team to do that. I mean, I think it's going to be a big testament to Joe Burrow, which I'm not saying that he's not talented. He's one of the better quarterbacks out there right now. Definitely better than Ryan Tannehill, for sure. But at the same time, he's still new. He's still young. I don't know what decisions he's going to make. He hasn't seen this pressure yet in these big-time games. Will it affect him? I don't know. But I definitely think it could. I mean, this is a big testament. I mean, the Bengals have never won a road playoff game ever. So be good for Cincinnati. It'd be great.
Joe Burrow's first game on the road, playoffs.
Yep.
And I mean, who did they play last week?
Right.
We're all so
right.
quick
the Raiders
to listen to the ESPN narrative. And yes, I think this Bengals team is building a great dynasty to come. But we're also quick to look at the narrative. You know, it was Bills this. Bills are for sure going to win the Super Bowl first 6 games. And then it was like, oh, the Patriots are going to go all the way. It's like, we forget like 3 games ago. We remember the last 2 and like that's it. Let's also remember that the Bengals played great, but let's look at who they played. And I just think that this Titans team is a contender. They're fierce. They have a winning nature. It's different going on the road to play these guys. And I think the Bengals in the very near future could do it. They could have a Super Bowl team, but it's just not this year for me. What was the spread on that?
On this game, it's Titans are favored. They're minus 3.5. The over is 47.5. I mean, I'll take Titans by 3.5. The over is kind of tricky. 47. What is that? 6 touchdowns and a field goal. What's 7? Yeah. No, 42. That'd be 45. So you need 6 touch. Basically, you need 7 touchdowns in the game, or you need 2 field goals, 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, give me the Titans, and if I had to go, I'm gonna go over.
Yeah, I mean, you got to
probably leave me out of that one.
Yeah, I mean, this is testament to Bengals. Like, just kind of, we don't know what we're gonna get. They beat the Raiders. Great, they looked great in that game. They kind of pressed off the gas at the end, which I didn't love, because I don't know if they're going to really be able to do that against the Titans. Then they lose to the Browns, but then they beat the Chiefs, and then they beat the Ravens, but then they barely beat the Broncos. It's like, then they lose to the 49ers. And the 49ers are a good team, but it's just like, I don't know what we're going to get. We've seen such great games out of the Bengals, and then we've seen such terrible games out of the Bengals. So it'll definitely be an interesting one for sure. I have the Titans absolutely by the spread. Me personally, I think Titans are making it to the Super Bowl. I want to see Titans Green Bay, which is going to segue us into our next topic, 49ers Packers. What do we got here? I'll give you a quick injury report, 49ers Packers. So the 49ers, the defensive end, Jordan Willis, he is questionable to play with an ankle injury. Nick Bosa is still questionable to play with his concussion. And then Ambry Thomas, who's a cornerback, is also questionable to play with a knee injury. The Packers, they have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who is doubtful to play with a back injury. So yeah, who do you got? What are you feeling here?
I think it's the end of Jimmy G here. I think this will be the last game he plays as a Niner, starts as a Niner at least. And I get it. The Packers tend to choke in the big spot, especially under Aaron Rodgers. They struggle against the run. The 49ers are built off of the run. But I'm just taking this game, Jimmy Garoppolo versus Aaron Rodgers, and I just don't see a way that the 49ers come out on top, especially David Bakhtiari's back and playing, and that's a huge piece for them. That is a ginormous piece of that offensive line, and I think with him and a banged-up 49ers line that they're going to be able to hold their own. The 49ers aren't going to push that offensive line around. Right. They're going to resist a little bit.
Yeah. Packers are 0-3 against the 49ers right now in the playoffs, which is pretty crazy to think about. Definitely a little bit of bad blood there because I know that the 49ers were kind of trying to steal Aaron Rodgers away. For me, there's this narrative going around that this is going to become a run game because it's in Lambeau. It's going to be cold. It's going to be like 5 degrees. But when have we ever seen a cold, even snowy day, which I don't believe it's supposed to snow, affect Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball? I think the only thing that's going to do is affect the 49ers, and they're not going to be able to throw the ball effectively. Which will it matter? I think they're going to try and swing Debo, Elijah Mitchell, maybe even get Trey Lance in there. They're going to try and swing them out to the side, expose Green Bay's kind of weak edges. But I don't know if that's going to be enough. I see Green Bay putting up 35 points. I don't know if the 49ers are just going to continue to run the ball, if they're going to be able to do that. Because we've seen the Packers similar to the Bucks. They can score points sub 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, you give Aaron Rodgers the ball with 2 minutes going in a half, they're at least getting a field goal there. So they can put up a bunch of points in a hurry. I don't know if the 49ers are going to be able to match that running the ball consistently.
Yeah. And I think Jair Alexander will be back this game.
Yeah,
that's also huge for this Green Bay team. And I just think, respect the fucking Packers defense. I don't understand it. They've struggled in the past. They've struggled at the beginning of the season, but they have really turned it around second half of the season. They've done better against the run. They've really shut out a lot of passing. And this is not the same Packers defense that we've seen. So if you think that the 49ers are going to come out there and Eli Mitchell is going to go for 170 yards, 2 touchdowns, you're out of your goddamn mind.
Yeah.
And let's remember, they have Jimmy Garoppolo. This comes down to a close game in the fourth quarter. Jimmy's going to pick it up. Aaron Rodgers is going to do his thing and close it out. And that's where I'm taking the money, is Aaron Rodgers is going to win this game. He's a better quarterback than Jimmy G, and he'll find a way to get it done.
Absolutely. The Packers held the Vikings to 10 points. They definitely turned it around. And honestly, like Rain's saying, freaking Aaron Rodgers doesn't need his defense to hold them to 10 points. He doesn't even need them to hold them to 20 points. We've seen them drop 40-plus points on elite defenses this year. 36 against the Rams, 45 against the Bears, 24 against the Browns. The Browns' defense is pretty good. But yeah, for me personally, I hate continuously taking the favored teams, but I'll take Packers -6 all day. By a touchdown, absolutely. 47 is the spread. Personally, I'm taking it. I think that Green Bay can damn near cover that themselves. So 49ers are definitely a good enough team to be able. They're going to put up at least 20 points. So
yeah, I'm taking Packers by the 6 all day, and I'm taking the over. And I don't think it's going to be a close game. I'm seeing this one somewhere in the 42-17, 42-21 region. And I think Packers get out front early. You make Jimmy G throw the ball for the whole game. It's a recipe for disaster, and I think the Packers will run away with this one at home.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people want to create this narrative that Aaron Rodgers chokes in the playoffs, which he does. I mean, like they have in the past. But I mean, we're seeing a different Aaron Rodgers this year, undoubtedly. So I think he's going to come out there and really show him what he's got.
I mean, I just think if we want to talk about chokes, let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo in the fourth quarter. Let's pull those numbers up.
Yeah. All right, next game we have Rams Bucks. This injury report's going to take me 6 years to go over.
Just do some of the highlights.
Okay, Andrew Whitworth is out with an ankle injury. Taylor Rapp, safety, is also out with concussion. Bucks right now we have definitive outs of Ronald Jones with an ankle injury, and Perryman, the wide receiver, is also out with a hip injury. Nothing crazy notable in the questionable region except for the tackles. Tristan Wirfs is questionable to play with an ankle injury.
I saw he's expected to play though.
Oh, okay. I mean, he came back in that Eagles game and he really kind of hurt them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he probably should not have played, and I mean, it definitely caused Tom Brady some sacks. That line needs to hold up. I mean, it's probably one of the best lines in the league right now. And with the way that the Rams defensive line played in the last game, I mean, it's going to be huge. Tom Brady, best to ever play, 100%. But he definitely starts to duck down once he starts to see those guys coming in, once he sees that pressure, once he sees that line kind of not holding up. So it'll be interesting. I mean, if the Rams can get 4 sacks, 5 sacks, kind of get Brady off his game, they don't have as many weapons. I mean, I could definitely see it going to the Rams. Rams on paper definitely should win the game. My problem is Rams haven't really clicked. I mean, they have all the talent in the world on that team, but they really have not played that well together. I mean, yes, did they beat the crap out of the Cardinals? Absolutely, but let's look at that Cardinals team. No DeAndre Hopkins. Buda Baker goes out, I want to say like midway through the first quarter. J.J. Watt's out. I mean, it's not the same team that damn near shut out the Rams and ran away with it the first time that they met up. For me, I gotta go Bucks. I'm not gonna bet against Tom Brady ever. It's just not a good idea. And they're -2.5, so I'll take that by a field goal. I mean, I don't. Tom Brady loves to not cover the spread for whatever reason, but yeah, I'll take that. The over 48. I'll take the over. Got to.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I've learned this season that I'm not going to bet against Tom Brady. Will not do it. I'll stay out of that bet before I decide to bet against him. But yeah, Michael touched on it. I think it's a game of, like I said for the last one, Tom Brady versus Matt Stafford. And I know Matt Stafford statistically has been a great quarterback. He is 100% a Hall of Famer. But the dude locks on. He does not progress through his targets. And we've seen it. Yes, it's Calvin Johnson, but it's not a mystery that the number 1 and 2 receiving yardage in a season in history are both thrown to by Matt Stafford because he loves to lock onto one guy. And I just think a Bruce Arians-led team is going to be able to hinder that a little bit. You know, you shut down Cooper Kupp, you shut down 75% of that offense, you know, and I don't think Sony Michel is going to go out there and run for 200 yards. He's played great. He has. And I think Cam Akers had a great game last week, but I just don't think it's enough there. And yeah, I just think Tom Brady he's Tom Brady. He does this. This is what he does every season. People want to doubt him during the playoffs, but he finds a way. And to that note, also, I think lost where I was going with that.
I mean, I think will the cornerbacks hold up is going to be another big question. Will the Bucks secondary hold up? I mean, not that I'm not going to lie. I don't know how much it's going to matter because I don't have faith in Stafford. I mean, we've seen him throw multiple picks in games against defenses that aren't that great, that lose him the game, like back-to-back pick sixes against the Titans. One of them was not his fault. Higbee damn near threw the ball to the other guy, but I don't know if
It
Stafford's
isn't his fault.
Yeah,
though, because you watch his throws to these other receivers,
right.
and outside of Cooper Kupp, the timing is off.
Absolutely.
He's under, he's behind, he's over. You know, I mean, he's got his timing down with Cooper Kupp, but he hasn't built that relationship with these other guys. And I think that's going to come to be their kryptonite, you know, because fourth quarter, fourth down, you need a first down. Who am I covering? I'm sending 3 guys on Kupp.
Absolutely.
Beat me with one of these other guys.
100%. I'll take the what, 5, 6 targets that Odell is going to get, the 1 to 2 targets that Van Jefferson's going to get, the 2 that Higbee will get. I'll take those yardages. They can have that. You have to lock up Cooper Kupp in this game. You have to get them uncomfortable and make them do something that they have not done all season. And that really they refuse to do even when down. Like, it's still the same narrative, even when they're losing. They really do not change. I don't like what's the head coach name?
Sean McVay.
Yeah, I don't like McVay either, really.
Yeah, I just don't like the way he looks. Kind of a douche, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, I think Leonard Fournette is going to have a huge role in this game, and seeing how healthy he is also going to be a big factor. I think they're going to need to get that run going with the losses they've had at wide receiver. I mean, they have Rashad Perryman out. Obviously, Chris Godwin's out. Antonio Brown, I don't know where he's at, but he's not going to be there.
He quit, man. He's done. He's hanging out with Madonna.
But you're going to have Jalen Ramsey. He's not going to shadow Mike Evans, but in the big situations, you'll see him on Mike Evans. And it's like, okay, we'll take that. Look at Leonard Fournette's receiving numbers for the year.
Absolutely.
What about Rob Gronkowski, Tom Brady connection? What is your answer for that?
I mean, we saw Tom Brady turn Wes Welker and Julian Edelman into Hall of Fame receiver. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. He doesn't need Mike Evans. Mike Evans is the one that begs for targets. Tom Brady doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. I don't think it's really going to be that big of a deal. So in this one, I'm going to have to take I'm taking the Bucks by the points 100%, and I'm going to go with the over.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Rams are supposed to win, but no shot. Am I betting on them? Then we got an interesting one. Bills Chiefs. We got injury report. Bills have no injury report. They are all
Bills
good.
are gonna win.
Bills are gonna win.
I mean, cool injury report, but
Chiefs questionable to play. Darrell Williams, running back, and Rashad Fenton, the cornerback, are both questionable to play. Yeah, not much to it. Bills are going to win 100%. No, I'm just that's it. That's all you heard it here first.
As that. The Bills are going to score more points than the Chiefs.
But
by
if the Chiefs score more points, they could win.
So therefore, the Bills are going to win because they are simply going to score more points than the other team. What's the spread on that one?
Spread is, I think, the 2.5. Chiefs are favored.
Yeah, give me the Bills.
54 over.
Give me the Bills straight up and give me the over. I'll take that. I think it's going to be a little bit of a shootout, or it could not. I mean, Mahomes could go out there and his receivers could tip away 5 interceptions. Who knows? But I think in a perfect world, it's going to be a shootout, and I'm giving the edge to the Bills. I think Josh Allen has the hot hand this season. I think he's making a name for himself. And for the Chiefs, it's going to be kind of a try again next season type deal. They still have the talent. They just got some chemistry things to figure out. And
for me, I feel like, I mean, if we look at both of them on paper, very similar teams. I think that the Chiefs defense has played a little bit better recently, but I think that personally the Bills defense is better.
Can you pull up the Chiefs schedule?
Yeah. I think that
Because let's talk about this dominant Chiefs defense.
Yeah, I mean,
and see who
their schedule is terrible. Who have they beat? They've lost every single big game. I mean, they beat the crap out of the Steelers. They beat the Broncos, lose to the Bengals, beat the Steelers again, beat the Chargers, beat the crap out of the Raiders, beat the Broncos. They did beat the Cowboys, which was good, but we see them lose to the Titans. They lose to the Bills. They lose to the Chargers. They lose to the Ravens. Barely beat the Vikings. Barely beat the Browns. It's just like most
in
of
those
their
bigger matchups.
Right.
Averaging almost 30 points allowed a game.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're coming off of a 21-point victory against a 40-year-old fat pedophile that we all wanted to see the Chargers, and I would have given the Chargers a shot in that game.
That timeout really screwed them. I don't know what that coach was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. You saw that he said the fucking Raiders guy said that, or no, it was Derek Carr actually. He said that when they took that timeout, that changed their mindset.
Yeah, it looked like they were
gonna go for the tie.
They were gonna let the clock run out, and then they called the timeout, and then they were like, "All right," like,
yeah,
that was ridiculous.
But all right, well, games are about to start here, so let's wrap this up.
Oh, true.
But yeah, let's go Titans.
What's your most confident bet?
Most confident bet. Let me see the lines again.
We got Titans -3.5, Packers -6, Bucks -2.5.
Most confident Bills. Bills money line and the over on 54.5.
Yeah, I mean, I think over for sure. Huge. I'm taking Bills straight up. Absolutely. I really don't feel too bad in any of these bets. Honestly, I feel pretty confident. I mean, I think obviously the Rams could and should win this game. I just don't think they will.
I mean, the Bengals-Titans game and the Rams-Bucks game I'm a little more iffy about. But like you said, Rams could and should win this game on paper, but the game isn't played on paper. And Sean McVay and his spiky hair is going to have to get out there and call some plays. So
yeah, he is.
We'll see how it goes.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, man. We'll see you in a couple days.
All right, later, fuckers.
Licks. Joe Brr.